the time is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to call this Board of Select meeting to order for December 8th and ask you to please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And roll call.
Mike Supranat, Tom Singletons,
Kevin Cunningham. Item C, to approve the meeting minutes from the Board of Select meeting from 11/24/25.
I'll make a motion to approve November 24th meeting minutes. I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item D, public comment. Anybody here from the public wish to speak?
I do. Hi, Linda Fedor, Central Village. I noticed on the agenda that what is it? Discuss an act on appointing town council. My question is, how do we recruit candidates for that position?
What we do is we put out to the local attorney groups to ask a request for a prospectus talking about what they do, who their members are, and what their costs are. So we did that. I've had 5 companies, which so far I have 3 returned already.
What's the deadline?
We don't have a deadline. Well, according to the charter, it's March 15th.
Oh, okay. But you're going to appoint them tonight? No.
I do not intend to do that.
Thank you, Kevin.
Okay. Anyone else from the public?
Gary Stellarborn, are you appointing more members to the capital strategic planning, or some people decide not to do it?
Well, it depends on how we vote, so I can't answer for that.
And I'm assuming you got enough LoCIP money to do the roof then, right?
And we will talk about that also.
And as far as the public meeting for the ECC, me personally, as far as being part of the committee there, I prefer to keep the building, expand it, move the town offices up there. So I'm hoping at your meeting, you'll allow the public to speak to peace about keeping the building too, besides your proposed buyers or whatever.
That is the intent.
One more thing about that. I can't remember. How much money was invested in that building when we bonded it out?
I think it was like 1.1 million 25 years ago.
1.1?
Roughly 1.1 25 years ago.
All right.
Anybody else in the public?
Naomi Smith. For the Capital Strategic Planning Committee, one of my questions is that committee going to be eventually presenting its findings to the Board of Selectmen and the Board of Finance? Because, like, if we're looking into cost analysis and repairs of buildings, infrastructure, so does that mean that we're going to potentially be seeking to add projects and fixtures, things like that, to the capital plan going forward?
Correct.
That's one of the purpose. Okay, because I was like, how is it moving forward?
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Before we continue, let's continue on E1. Discuss and act on appointing town council via a resolution following the town charter 82A. As we already heard, we have until March 15th to do so. I did receive back 3 out of the 5 requests. So I would prefer we table this because we don't have all the information to make a proper judgment on.
Does it look like we probably could have it for our next meeting?
Well, it all depends on those companies. I'm pushing them to get it back as soon as possible. I got the 3rd one today.
Okay. Because I almost wonder, like, we definitely need to table it, but, you know, if we need to build a little bit more of a time frame in, because meaning, like, if we're not going to have all the information available, we obviously don't want to keep having to act on it, you know, until we have that information. So.
I believe we might have everything by the next meeting, so.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I don't have a problem tabling it. I only have one other suggestion for other than town council. I put together something I'll give you. at some point, I don't know if we have to build it into next year's budget or ask the police department, police commission, if they wanted to put it into next year's budget. I came up with about 11 different things on why I think the police commission and the police department need separate legal counsel. I just think to pass it out to you so you can look at it, you can read it, to see if that's something that we want to talk about, act on, or move into next year's budget. And all the reasons that I put in here, and I actually reached out and found out numerous other towns with police commissions set up like ours have separate town council. And the reason why is taking politics out, because a lot of times the town council advises you, Kevin, or us, the Board of Selectmen, and they're also advising the police commission or police department, and there's a conflict there. And I don't know if we can put in a line item, I'm just making this number up, $20,000, $25,000 in there and look at something like that. I did read the town charter 8.2, and it does appear that we can do that. That's something I'd like to obviously discuss and present to you.
All right. Well, thank you for your input. I will read through it. I'm sure Tom will too. For right now, though, what do you want to do with the, you want to table this?
I would make a motion that we table appointing town council.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. I would like to add on one more thing in here. And as you see, I passed you out a couple of emails. The one thing I do want to discuss, because we do have a housekeeping issue with Conservation Commission to make sure that the applicant who we have voted on makes a proper date so that the town clerk can put those in properly into the system. I'd entertain a motion at this time to add to item 6, the new business, a motion to correct the Conservation Commission members' service dates.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, we can go into new business F1. There are 3 tax refunds as requested by the town tax collector, totaling $999.85. Kimberly K. Fitch is for $266.36. Enterprise FM Trust $468.27. ARI Fleet Ltd. LT Ltd. $265.22.
I'll make a motion that we approve the tax refunds as requested by the tax collector totaling $999.85.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Discuss and appoint members to the newly created Capital Strategic Committee. I do want to say that we did add 8 people last time. I don't think it's prudent to continue to adding on more people into that group unless they are directly related to a highway department or someone that works directly for the school department in the buildings. Unfortunately, we don't have that right now. Making this committee too large would mean that you have a much more difficult time of actually acting on things and doing things. I know we acted on we have 2 members of the Board of Education on there, 2 members of the Board of Finance. We have representation from the public, so that's 8 right now. I would really rather not continue on adding more people. As you saw in their packet, the 3 that are there are not, what do we have?
My only problem is I obviously made a motion to appoint all the people that were interested. During that meeting last month, we got another individual who was interested in there, Ari Landry. I actually see her here tonight. And I know we don't want the committee too large, but she did put in, we oversaw that during the meeting, I would think.
She actually put a request in on Monday, November 24th.
Right, during our last meeting.
At 7:42 p.m.
I think another thing that we got to consider here, Kevin, is at the last meeting, did we actually agree on a cap? Did we give a specific number that once we hit that, we weren't going to be appointing anymore?
No, but I think we should talk about that now.
That's fine, but what I'm saying is that between the last meeting and now, the 3 individuals that we have, I mean, if there was no cap acted on us for it, you know, I believe in their minds, they would have thought that, well, and actually I think we did specifically say at some point we can add people down the road. But the fact is, if we said that at the last meeting and we got these since then, I would feel really bad if we didn't consider these because of the fact that we gave them that opportunity. Now, going forward, I definitely see what you're saying, that maybe we should say, you know, in motion that this is enough at this time, and so we're not going to be looking for more volunteers after this meeting. But the fact that we kind of left the window open since the last meeting, I think these 3 people are in the right to consider that.
I I hear what you're saying, but what if 50 people put their name in?
I agree, but I think we'll make a cap or something tonight.
We should do that.
Right, I mean, obviously, if we had 50 people here, we wouldn't, yeah, we'd have to.
Who are the three, Tom?
Ariana Landry, which you were just mentioning, as she got in shortly after the meeting, Peggy Bory and John Reynolds, who I believe all three.
I thought John was for the economic.
He's
development.
also.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I'd make a motion that we add the three that you just said, Tom, and move from there.
Without a cap?
Well, I think that'll be another motion.
I think we should do it all in one.
All in one?
Could do it all, yeah.
Okay.
Well, before we get to that, but what was your idea for how many people? Because that would make it 11.
Well, we'll keep it at 11 unless they lose members.
I'm good with that. Yeah, I'm good with that. If you want to just keep it 11, say at this time. If in case, so if there's a letter that comes in tonight or going forward, we can say thank you for sending in your interest, but, you know, we decided at the meeting that these three that we just added are going to be, for the time being, if we get resignations or something.
I'll make a motion that we add Ari Landry, John Van Holsen, Peggy Bory with a cap of 11 people for the Capital Strategic Planning Committee.
I'll second that.
Ready, you have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I'll abstain. All right, item 3, discuss and appoint member to Economic Development Commission. You have one letter in your packet.
I'll make a motion to appoint John Van Holsen.
I'll second that for economic development.
And any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item 4, discuss and act on utilizing LoCIP monies to upgrade the bus garage roof. And this was a time-sensitive issue. That's why at the last meeting we talked about how we'd be able to access money by going to the Board of Finance for fund balance. However, if you don't mind, I'll introduce Lisa Madden. She is our new finance director, just so she can give a lowdown of LoCIP and how much we are able to utilize. We do have enough money, but I just want to make sure that she can explain that we do have enough. That's a route we can go.
Yes, we do have enough. When I reviewed the account balances for the deposits made in the last 2 years, plus the upcoming deposit and expenditures going out, your original estimate was about $50,000, and we do have enough to cover that.
And there's no type of restriction on this as far as us utilizing it for this kind of project?
No, it's part of, there's a whole listing, let me rephrase that, the LoCIP funds can be,
To the state of Connecticut to say, yes, we recognize there's a need, and therefore we've acted upon it at a meeting.
it'll allocate the funds towards it.
Yep.
Another question I had was, as far as coming up with the amount of $45,000, did we ever get like kind of a breakdown of how we would get to that? Because I know like in my line of work of getting quotes for, and I've actually replaced pieces of roofing in my business, usually when I got a quote, it would have a breakdown of like, so this much is going to go towards insulation. Not that this might not have insulation, but just as an example. Another one's going to be towards the decking, the sheet metal. This is going to be for the rubber coating, and it all adds up to $45,000. So have we gotten anything like that?
Yeah, I can explain that. What we'd like to do is like to go out to businesses that, like roofing companies that would be able to give us a rough estimate and breakdown like that. We've gone out to 3, we've gotten back 1. It's a very quick turnaround that they're doing this on, but as soon as we get all that information, I can share that with you. We do have 1 right now. It's just an estimate. Well, again, it's over 10,000, so procurement policy says we got to go out to bid. I don't think we have to give a number in our request, just saying that we'd like to allocate monies or request monies from the state of Connecticut through LoCIP to do the roof repair.
We don't have a formal bid yet to make that dollar determination.
I'll make a motion that we go out and use, obviously, the state of Connecticut LoCIP monies for the upgrade to the bus garage roof.
I'll second that.
Any other discussion? As soon as I do get that information in, I can share that with you. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Discuss and set a date for the public informational meeting for disposition of the ECC building and continuation of the cell tower lease. So, that was something we were looking to do with a estimated time.
You see that we've had 2 meetings on that, Cancer, correct?
Yeah, this is something we were trying to work with both the developers and also give the townspeople enough of a buffer to put the announcement out, legal notice and things like that. So I'm looking at this point for the Thursday, January 8th. I've already reached out to the different companies that would be able to come to give a presentation. So that's what I was looking for.
And that's just an informational meeting, we're not going to be...
Absolutely, just information only. It's information to allow a couple of things. One, the cell tower company has come back to us with a decent increase in the cost payment to us monthly. We're also looking to change the way that we do the, right now it's a 20-year lease, and every 5 years they give us a 15% bump. Okay, but then when I talked to them about it, I said, why can't we do 3% annually? The differences are astronomical. We're looking at a 20-year total collection of $1 million. If we do it in a that's for the 15% per 5 years. If we do it annually, 3%, it's almost 1.3.
Because it's compounded.
Compounded, yeah. So that's where the public information is important so they can understand what it is when they go to eventually vote on it. Because anything in the town charter that talks about a lease also requires a town vote. The other one is a information for the public on the 2 different companies who would like to purchase the ECC building and also an opportunity for the public to have input. So that's why it's just information only.
Do we know if before that date, would the Capital Strategic Planning Committee be meeting at all before then?
They will probably be meeting right after that. Probably like this, looking at Thursdays. This is a tough month because of the holiday. But definitely, we're looking probably the 3rd week in January to start that up and get it going.
The reason I say that is because, now that we've officially put this group together, I would think that one of the first things, on their agenda as far as building structures in the town would be the ECC because of the fact that it's time sensitive. We can't sit on this forever. We do need to decide what the future is going to be on. And I would definitely like to hear input from them at some point down the road as a committee. So maybe they could come to the Board of Selectmen and present to us. Maybe that would be sometime in January or February, depending on when we would need to.
Let me give you some ideas about what that committee is going to have to do. First thing we do is we're looking at all the different buildings in the town of Plainfield. You're looking at the highway, police, rec department, sewer. So those buildings have to have just what the other buildings were did analysis on. You have to go out first to ask for the Board of Finance to take money from the fund balance to get that started. So once you do that, then you could put it out for an RFP.
Yeah.
Then after that, you have to wait for that to get done, and then they do the analysis, which takes months. So the problem is that now you have a building that's sitting up there that is continually under the gun of getting it fixed, things that have to be done. We don't have that money invested in this year's budget. So you want to keep it, you want to maintenance on it. It could take a while before you get to that level. You really want to evaluate everything equally. You look at all the buildings equally to say what is the most important. The Board of Education has already talked about it for, and I can verify this, for 25 years, how the heating systems over at Central and Memorial are way outdated and need to be done. The price tag went from $400,000 or $500,000 for a fix over there to well over 2.2. So we keep pushing that down the road as the price goes up. That's one of the most important to my recollection. One of the most important ones to get fixed up because we're losing money on that every year. But anybody going into the school, those 2 schools in particular, and you see in the classrooms, you see people wearing jackets in the winter, that's not a good environment to actually teach in. And again, you're losing money because you're pumping out all the extra heat, trying to get through over there. So my opinion would be that's one of the highest ones. Who knows, in the evaluation, you could find something else. So I just want to be able to have to the public an idea because we did this over a year ago, putting it out to our realtor to give us an idea if somebody wanted it. 2 companies came back, and I think it's important for the public to know what the plans are over there and how much they would get revenue-wise versus how much money it would take to fix it up. That information will be available. I'll bring that as well. We had a meeting maybe a year ago, January, this past January, on that whole thing. So the information is still available, but there's more now, more data to share.
One thing I would like to note is with the craziness that kind of went on with the cancellation of it, because we have 2 dates that were on the calendar at one point,
And that was the
and
problem.
they're both canceled. And so I had a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls from people in town saying, when is the meeting? And of course, I couldn't give them a straight answer because we hadn't acted on it yet. But in the event where something comes up between now and January 8th, and if this one has to be canceled, we definitely need to come up with some type of communication system. And, this would start off internally. So for example, like, I don't know, when Mike found out about it, but for me, I found out just because I stopped by to see it, that particular night. But we as a board of selectmen definitely need to know as soon as possible. You're of course the first one to find out, about these kind of things. And then we kind of need to then filter it through. Mike and I need to know. We of course have our own people that we regularly talk to in the town. Many of them have a vested interest in these kind of things. So I just want to throw that out there as a scenario of it can always happen again for some reason where we have to cancel this one, have to reschedule. And I just want to make sure that the public is informed of if it does happen, we need to get out to them ASAP and utilize, maybe the social media page, make a post on there that, hey, just so everyone knows, this was canceled, because there was a lot of confusion with this past 2 dates.
And this has already been, again, I reached out to all the parties and made sure that that date would work with them.
So you're looking for a motion to set a date and time, January 8th, and,
Yep, January 8th for the public informational meeting for disposition of the ECC building, continuation of cell tower lease at 7 PM here at the town hall.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, thank you. And item 6, we added in. It's just a motion you have in your papers I passed out. We would need to fix the dates, so we'd have to entertain a motion for Steve Randall, who was voted on November 10th, that the dates of their service should be January 1st, because it's fitting into a slot. So for that, it should be January 1st, 2024 through January 4th, 2027. So what's your pleasure?
I'll make a motion that we approve the term correction dates as you just presented.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
The paper you have falls under the other. From the chairperson for ethics, we had a resignation from the Ethics Commission, and that was Lynn Gagnon. So I just wanted you to be aware of that. We'll be looking and searching, putting it online as well for someone from it has to be a Democrat, because Lynn's a Democrat, so it fits into that slot. With that,
Make a motion to adjourn?
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Time is 7:23. Thank you.